Well, the first time I saw her that I could really remember was at Phoenix Church at what we call a children's meeting, which today is called a Bible club or Bible school. And she was playing the part of an angel. We had a 5-year courtship. We got engaged. And
Yeah, what?
when did we get engaged?
At the beginning of the sophomore year? Maybe it was the last year we were in school.
That's been a few years ago.
Both of us, because I caught up with you.
We were both, I was a freshman in college,
And he lost.
and she was a senior, and we agreed that we weren't going to get married until we graduated and had enough money that we really could establish a home, because quite frankly, we didn't, neither one of us came from very rich families. I mean, to put it blunt, we didn't have 2 dimes to rub together. So that's what we did. We waited till we were after college. And we did each taught a year and got married. And that's been 66 years ago. We were married by Emory Leader in Phoenix Church. I did a double major of social studies and physical education because I thought I'd like to coach. Athletic-wise, I ran on the track team, and I was also on the gymnastics team. I ran track in high school, but I never did any gymnastics at all. On the still rings, the key to that is the rings could not move, but you had to move all around them. You did everything from handstands to what we call front levers, back levers, iron crosses. An iron cross is where you hold your hands out like this and support yourself. If you want to really get good, you do a seat. I never could get the seat. I was the only one on the team that could do the iron cross. I had to stay here, and I got the job at Parker, then later at Liberty Center, then later at Bluffton. And then from Bluffton, I was a teaching principal at this little 1 through 4 school. I taught 4th grade, was also the principal. And your grandmother and I and your father and Teresa and Diane all moved down to Muncie, Indiana. You see, I'd been going to college, and by this time I had 2 master's degrees. I had a bachelor's and 2 masters, one in elementary education and one in secondary education. Well, to do a doctorate, you have to have a major and a minor. I took mine, and you could take it, the major in just what they call education, because most of those guys were going for superintendent's jobs. And then you had to have a minor. Well, I took mine in reading. The final semester that I was at Indiana University, one of the professors who was on my committee, and each person had to have a committee, and I had 3 fellows who were on my committee, and this man was in charge of the reading department, so I was oftentimes in there. I knew him quite well. He called me in the office one day and said, "Bill, I've been looking at your records. Do you realize you're going to get another master's degree here when you finish here?" I said, "No." So sort of the joke was that I wound up getting a master's degree, a 3rd one, by accident. The bachelor was in education. Then I got a master's in elementary education, a master's in secondary education, and a doctorate with reading and education. From there, I graduated, and I graduated mid-year, and went from there. Your grandmother and I moved up to Crown Point, Indiana. loaded everything up in the truck, and away we went. We found a house, was a brand new house, hadn't sold, which is certainly Providence. And we bought that, and I can still remember the real estate dealer standing in the house and said, you know, I really don't know if you've even got a driveway or sidewalks out here, because there was an inch of ice and about 6 inches of snow out there. This is in December. I had taken over a Head Start program in the summertime that had been in very bad shape. And as a result of getting that straightened out, I got a reputation as a troubleshooter for taking over programs that were in bad shape and making something of it. Moved over to another school across town, and I was there for 8 years. And that was an interesting school too, because the place was, again, another wreck. They had also several classes of what they call special education. They were kids that had all kinds of academic problems. They took all the schools and put them in one class in this building. And these kids were just almost out of control. They got up out of their seat, and they weren't supposed to do this. They were supposed to stay seated. I was standing over by the door. Now, you have to remember that this gymnasium had folding bleachers. You've seen these kind. Mm-hmm. They walked up to me, and one of these kids is as big as I am. And they said, "You knew the principal?" "Yes." "We want to show you how things are run around here." I really did this without thinking too much, but I reached out and grabbed both of them, flipped them around, and slammed them up against the bleachers. Man, they just rattled like a whatever. Bobby, well, I won't tell you their last name, Bobby and Jimmy. And their eyes got big as saucers, and I just said to them, if you two ever try to tell me how to run this school, when I'm through with you, they will sweep you underneath the door. The door won't be open. Now you get over there and you sit down, and I don't want any more troubles out of you. Who is this guy? I mean, he's crazy. So I retired in '92. I taught a Sunday school class for 13 years. Really enjoyed it. Along the line, I also picked up a black belt in karate. Tyler, you're looking at a person who has been blessed beyond measure. I married a girl who's wonderful. We've had the privilege of 3 fine children. One of them your father. It was because of her that I was able to do what we call Cycles for Christ. When we were in Grove City, Pennsylvania, your grandmother received a phone call from some people we knew in Crown Point, and they said that our name was in the newspaper for funds that were unclaimed. And your grandmother said, you know, you need to buy a plane because you've always wanted one. So I looked around, looked quite a while, and bought a plane, like a little tripacer right there.
Could I interrupt for just a minute about the plane? Because I have been praying that we would have the money to buy a plane. And I knew because I was doing CEF, rather than teaching school, we didn't have the money. You know, but he always encouraged me to do the CEF, not go back to work teaching. And I can remember the night that I left the CEF meeting and was coming home praying about that. And it was within a few days that we got that check. But it was just, you know, I went back and told my CEF committee I'd rather work for the Lord than them, because the Lord paid me.
So anyway, we had the plane, enjoyed flying it for a while, sold it, took piano lessons for a while, but I had injured my wrist in karate at the same time, so I had to stop taking lessons. But I did go on with the karate. And let's see, after 6 years, 3 broken toes, 2 cracked ribs, and a concussion, I achieved the black belt. What did it say up there? Persevere. I have a rule myself. If you start something, you finish it. You don't quit. You don't give up. You keep at it. And I must admit, there were some times that I came home rather beat up because the instructor believed in pain brings learning. And so we oftentimes were going at it knock-down, drag-out, so to speak. I've always enjoyed life, I know that. And as you can tell, I've kept myself busy doing various things, either flying, or coaching, or martial arts, or piano playing, or, well, of course in college I had a whale of a time. I loved gymnastics. Of course I was good at it, so maybe that's the reason I loved it. Is there one truth? Yes. And I taught it for 13 and a half years, just finished up here a short time ago. Jesus Christ will eventually rule the world in the spirit of love. Evil will be defeated, and this place will become a paradise. I believe that.